Hello everyone, our video today is about the standard deviation because everybody is asking what is the standard deviation, and there is another question, how to calculate the standard deviation. Actually, the standard deviation is how much, or the average of how much each value deviate from the mean, how much is each value is far from the mean. Example here, if we take the math grades of a certain group, the grades are over 20. One student got 7, another student got 9, other student got 10. Okay, if you want to talk about deviation of each value from the mean, we can show this on a numbered line. Well, actually this is a numbered line. I'm gonna take each box as 2. So the first value is 7, other value is 9, there's something wrong with the boxes here, then 11, so 10 in the middle, and then 13, 15, 17, each box is 2, 16, 19, and this is 20. We should calculate the mean to talk about the standard deviation. The mean, as you all know, is the sum of values divided by their number. It's 7 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 13 plus 15 plus 16. Here in this case we don't have frequency because it's a statistical series. Over their number equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 over 10. Or you can calculate the mean on calculator mode 3U1. You enter the values 7, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, 16, 19, and 20. Whenever you enter the data on the table, if you have frequency, you can enter each frequency. If you don't, if you have a statistical series, you just enter it on your calculator. You press on AC, and now you do shift 1, 4. The number of the mean is 2, so 2, the mean of this data is approximately 13.34. so the mean here is 13.34. this is 13, so the mean is gonna be here. Let's say the mean is 13.34. so the deviation of 13 from the mean is 13 minus 13.34 is minus 0.34. This is the deviation of the value 13. The deviation of the number of the value 11 from the mean, 11 minus 13.34 is minus 2.34. For example, the deviation of 7 from the mean, 7 minus 13.34 is 6.34. These are the deviation of each number. The deviation of 20, for example, from 13.34 from the mean, because the mean is here, the deviation is of 20 from 13.34 is 6.66. The deviation of, you can also calculate the deviation of 19. The mean of all, or the average of all these deviation is called the standard deviation. Okay. Usually in SAT you don't use this method to calculate the standard deviation. First of all, you need to understand what is standard deviation. Yani, more values you have, here you have less values far from the mean, so the standard deviation, this is the mean. So in this case, the standard deviation is smaller than when we have more values. Yani, if you have this in another study, you have more values like 35, or let's say like 6 or 5. Okay, so the standard deviation will be bigger. More values you have that are far from the mean, the standard deviation will be bigger. Okay, but how to calculate the standard deviation? You can calculate the standard deviation by using the formula x bar equals summation of 1 over n into xi, each value minus the mean square, and you put a radical for the whole formula. But using this formula is gonna take time in your SAT, so you don't have enough time. Usually they ask you if the standard deviation is bigger or the standard deviation is less, all what you need to know is to compare values. The more values far from the mean you have, the more bigger standard deviation you have. Okay. If you want to calculate the standard deviation, you can do it on calculator. After entering the data, mode 3.1, after entering the data, as we did a few minutes ago, you can press on shift 1.4 and the standard deviation is 3. So you just press on 3 and you can get your value. Okay. But usually SAT exercises are about if the standard deviation less or more, or if you add 5 to each value, would the standard deviation will be changed or not. Usually the answers are about that. Okay. For example, here we have two different questions from SAT exams, and they ask about the standard deviation. Like in the first question, we have city A and city B, and he is asking us which of the following is true. Standard deviation of A, the standard deviation cannot be calculated, which is wrong. You can always calculate the standard deviation of quantitative value. Whenever you have the values as number that represent quantity, you can calculate the standard deviation. The standard deviation of city A is the same as the standard deviation of city B. Actually, both start from 18 till 22. Both start from 18 till 22. But at the sites 18, you have frequency 2. So you have two person or 2 days. I don't know, the problem is about 2 days. 2 days they have the degree 18. But actually in city B we have 4. We have more frequency. So the values of at the sites are bigger or are more, not bigger. They are more. We have more values at the sites, and in this case the data is more scattered. It's more spread. So for sure the standard deviation of B will be bigger, and the standard deviation of city B is larger for sure, because at the sites here 18 we have frequency 4, 22 we have frequency 7, where here at the side we have less frequency, we have less values. Okay. If you want, you can enter city A on calculator, calculate its standard deviation, city B on calculator, calculate standard deviation, and get the answer, but that will take time. It's so obvious. You just can look at the table. At the sites we have more frequency, more values. Okay, more values at the sites, so the standard deviation will be bigger. Here he is also asking you to compare the standard deviation of class A and class B. This is another exercise from SAT, and he's telling you standard deviation of A is less than standard deviation of B. Standard deviation of A is greater. They are both equal. There's no enough information to compare standard deviation. Actually, both start from 0 till 5. Okay, yani you can say in A you have more values, so its standard deviation is bigger. So, for instance, for now, they both start from 0 till 5. But you can see in B, the values at the sides have more frequency, so the deviation will be bigger. So standard deviation of B will be greater than standard deviation of B. Is greater, so the standard deviation of A is less than the standard deviation of B. Okay, these are the exercises that usually ask about an SAT, and you can also always calculate the standard deviation using calculator just to be sure, but it will take time. You can save your time by just noticing and seeing the values. More scattered values, standard deviation will be bigger. More values close to the mean, the standard deviation will be smaller. And that's it. Thank you so much.